the last one due to Memorial Day. 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. For those of you new to the call, these calls are all housed in audio format as well. Wherever you like to watch your podcasts, whether it's Apple or YouTube or wherever you consume podcasts, you can find these everywhere as well, and any old ones you want to hear. This call, I typically am not really looking at the chat. So if you're putting something in the chat, you definitely need to please put your camera on and wave at me because the calls are short enough and there's enough people on here that I'm not necessarily monitoring it, just so you know. This call is also live on Facebook. It's live on LinkedIn. It's live on YouTube. So it is housed over there as well. I can't see who that person is. Thank you to those of you who have your cameras on. So welcome. Interesting. It's already, if you can believe it, almost the middle of June. COVID March was over 3 years ago, just to age all of you quickly on the phone along with me, which is just absolutely incredible. Those that I am working with one-on-one, are clearly seeing a little tick up right now, not just a June tick up, just a tick up in general. Again, the consumers are definitely used to where the rates are right now, even though they are moving around a little bit up and down in a range. I think we're seeing that. I think a little bit of inventory is starting to shake out certain places. The one thing that I am seeing is that the good loan officers are getting better. Their volume is going up. The struggling loan officers are struggling even harder. So again, you all have heard me talk about this already, but this is a market share taking market. This is a market where the big dogs, like my guest today, and I'm just looking around here real quick, not to leave anyone out, but the people like a Willie Dawes pounding away in Ohio, big unit guy, are probably adding units right now, especially they're adding saves and all kinds of things where unprofessional loan officers are ball dropping and either getting out of the business or basically just screwing up deals and allowing those of us on this call, of course, that are good and professional and really practice their craft to take market share, not only to close that loan, but to really, really take market share. So I am definitely seeing unit volume moving upwards. I also think, we're still getting a little bit of a mixed message on this. All the prices are going to drop. All the prices are going to go up. I think Barbara Corcoran last week got a lot of press when she came out and basically said, I don't know what all these people are talking about. There's only the prices are only going up. They're definitely not going down. There's just no way for them to go down just about anywhere. I guess there's the areas that you could get a deal right now, if we've got loan officers on here with a very high average loan amount. I see Mark Bernstein just came on. He's got a high average loan amount. I think maybe it's luxury, above luxury, where a house is listed for 10 and maybe you're getting it for 9.5. But I think a starter 3.2 comes on the market in your market and it's in great shape. I think there is a lot of offers on that thing and it's going above. And I don't think anyone is going to argue that point today. So we're still in a grind it market. I just want to say another couple words before we engage here with Mr. John Hodgkins. This is a survive and thrive market. Okay. If you're having a pity party for yourself and you're all up in your own head because you're used to saving X per month and buying an Airbnb every other month and trading in your new Corvette for a more expensive car every month, that is not the market we're in, people. This is a survive and thrive. Don't worry about your investment accounts right now. Get loans, do loans, take market share, don't lose any loans referred by your partners no matter what, and survive to the other side. Because when you're standing on the other side, things are going to look very, very good for those of you that have done that, because a lot of loan officers are going to be out of the business and a lot of real estate agents will be out as well. There'll be plenty of market share to take. So on for today's guest, Mr. John Hodgkins, coming in hot from Hartford, Connecticut, which is a, it's interesting, John. I was just talking to one of our mutual friends about this a couple of days ago. that the market has tightened up a little bit. There's just more and more offers, but Connecticut's been cruising, not necessarily Fairfield County, which is down near New York City, which is more New York City Metro, but more Connecticut, where John operates. John is I think he's got a branch manager title with Guaranteed Rate, and he is one of their top. John, where are you? Did you make it? Are you top 20 units there now, year to date?
I'm closer to top 40.
Closer to top 40. Excellent. Units year to date, which is
units in volume. Yep.
Units in volume, which is awesome. And John, just to give people a feel, what do you have on the books for June units wise right now?
June units, we should be just over 32.
Okay, so I only have him say that not to make anyone on this call feel bad in any way, but I just want to let you know it's totally doable. Okay, if you're doing the right activities, it is doable. John is not in a market where there's every other house is for sale. So he's experiencing the same type of tight inventory market that most of you are. Some of you are. It's a little bit tighter, but John, would you say a cherry 3.2 comes on the market, meaning a cherry starter home that doesn't need any work, is going to be how many offers right now in your market?
Well, it depends, Joel, how it's priced. But if it's priced, if it's priced right, it's going to be a house in that price range is probably going to be double digits offers. If it's priced too low, it could be 5 times that.
So then they're sifting through 40 offers or whatever, trying to find it. And so, John, let me start with, because this is the big question that everyone asks me all the time, and no particular order. But John, what do you do to make yourself stand out so your buyer gets that house? This is the big one. I'm talking to a lot of loan officers, and I hear them very frustrated. They've got pre-quals, they have things going on. Oh, my buyers are not getting the house. Okay. And I'm finding a lot of times they're just lazy. But tell everyone, what are you doing when you get that phone call? John, we're writing on this house. Walk us through, what are you doing to make sure your person gets it if there's 40 offers?
Yeah, I think, well, a couple of things, Joel. I think one of the things that we're doing starts right at the beginning is speed and certainty is a premium right now in this market. I think from a list agent's perspective, the amount of the offer needs to be right, but what wins offers are terms and conditions. And when it comes to financing, we just need to be in a place today to get the edge. We just need to have all the financial contingencies, from appraisal gap to loan approval. We need to have those terms, we need to have those worked out before the offers go in. And not only does that allow us to go in with a mortgage commitment, which is what I'm doing on 100% of my buyers for our top referral partners are going in mortgage committed up front. 80% of them have appraisal gap coverage as well. And all of them have the ability to close within 10 days, which rarely does that ever need to be the case, but it certainly communicates a lot.
So, John, are you then on top of it, getting that listing agent on the phone?
Right now, it seems like, Joel, 90% of our offers take place from Friday night to Sunday night. When an offer happens from Friday night to Sunday night, 90% of the time I'm on the phone with the list agent.
And you're getting through. And are you hearing, John? Everyone, I want you all to hear this. I've been talking about this for months and months and months and months, and it is amazing how listing agents are telling loan officers that I work with, yeah, you're the only one that called me. Are you still hearing that?
It's getting to the point where it's so crazy that I'm not hearing as much that other loan officers aren't calling, but not all the loan officers that are calling are ringing the right bells. They're not sounding the alarm on the terms and conditions of that particular borrower.
Okay.
And I'm finding that there's a lot of list agents that you really need to break down what it is. It's counterintuitive for a list agent to actually have a mortgage commitment in their hand before a contract. Some of these people have been doing business for a long time. They've never had a mortgage commitment in their hand before the offer is accepted. So you really have to break that down for them.
All right, awesome. Because listen, if you're closing 32 units, I'm sure your people are having a higher percentage of getting that property, because I know for a fact, we don't even have to get into it, that in your market, some of those houses that you're winning, there's 20 offers. There's easily 20. In fact, John, how often do you have two borrowers writing on the same property? That's got to be happening a lot as well, right?
That is happening more and more and more. And I have one particular team that we have a 15-minute huddle every week, and the subject is the same every week. What do we need to be sharp on this week to give our offers the best chance? Sometimes it's just a text, sometimes it's a Zoom, or sometimes it's a call, but that's all it is. What did we see this weekend? And what is it? How best to communicate to people the essence of the terms and conditions of this offer?
And John, tell me a little bit about, give me a little bit of psychology with your agent partners. How are they feeling right now in Connecticut? Are they starting to come out of doom and gloom? Are some of them still gloomy? Tell everyone what you're hearing. Everyone, John is very consistently, those of you that are familiar with the JOEL plan, he's working a JOEL plan. So he is with people all the time, constantly deepening existing relationships or developing new ones. John, is the haze starting to clear, or are there still a lot of them that you think may end up being casualties of this market?
Wow, that's a great question, Joel. It's funny. I would say right now that most of the time I've met with agents in the past, when it comes around to what I'd like to cover, sometimes it's how to better refer me. And right now I'm finding that with a good number of agents, it's been more pep talks. There's some very good agents that I work with that are just so frustrated because they have year over year, they have more buyers at this point in June than they had last year, but their conversion rate on offers is just terrible. So I find, Joel, that the agents that are working with people that are right around the median home price in Connecticut, they're really struggling because affordability is a real challenge. So one of the things that we're helping them with is how can we overcome the affordability issue for people at the lower end of the market. It seems like agents that are working with people on the higher end, some of these people are it's almost like they're sugared up with how much they're getting for the house they're selling. They don't care about the interest rate or the house price. They just want the house.
Yeah, John, we are, one of the things I'm seeing, and I'm sure you're experiencing this with agents. I'm with agents every week. I see Jen's on here. I'm going to be with her tomorrow in Kansas City. There is a flight to quality right now with loan officers. This is like I haven't seen in a long, long time. These agents are done. They're done working with jokers. It's over. Like, even if they're friends with the joker, they're done. Every deal is too important. And knowing how to talk to their clients, which obviously become your clients together, knowing your craft, knowing your stuff is paramount now. I mean, it's huge. It's massive. It's actually how it always was. John, if you think about this, really, probably since 2001, 2002, with the exception of the blip in 07, 08, maybe 09, loan officers and agents have really been on a roll, to be honest. I mean, it really hasn't been, that hard. Now you got to work. Now you got to do your job. And there's no time to call a ambulance. And I'm watching loan officers fall off the cliff, and I'm watching good loan officers just literally take market share. I mean, they're just, they have an opportunity, and boom, God help you as a loan officer, you screw up a deal, it's a save, and John Hodgkins has it, and he closes it in 9 days, and then 4 days later, he's at lunch with your supposed agent partner, and bye-bye, that's lights out right there. It is, I really haven't heard the agents, John, talking like this in a while. I think part of it is there's not as many deals. Everything's got to close, and they don't want any extra stress, than they already have. John, are people, are the agents optimistic yet in your market? Do you feel they starting to get optimistic or not yet?
I think that there's a minority of agents that are optimistic, and however, to get around, Joel,
hold on 1 second, John.
What are you doing?
Can someone mute her? Thank you, Josh. Go ahead, John.
To be around the agents that, like, one agent in particular who I'm thinking about right now. She is absolutely contagious. We're doing a we're doing a happy hour. She just said, John, we're having lunch, and she says to me, John, what can I do? What can I do to help you most right now? And before I could even answer, she says, I know what I'll do. And she goes right on her phone, and she's got a happy hour already started. She said she sends it out to 10 agents, and she basically says, hey, look, I'm having a happy hour. I want to have a happy hour this afternoon at this particular place. I just want to put our heads together. I want to share it with you, all the things that I've been experiencing recently in my list agent meetings. And of the 10 people she surveyed, 7 of them were back in touch with her in like 20 minutes saying, Julie, I don't even care what time I'm there. So they're eager to get around somebody who does see the light through the forest. They're trying to get, there are people in this market that are doing extremely well. So who you hang around with right now, I think, is more important than it is normally.
Yeah. And the other thing with agents, and you should talk to your agent partners about this. We went through COVID, where everyone was, well, a lot of people were locked up. Florida doesn't count. There was no COVID in Florida, right? But a lot of people were locked down for a while. And before that, we've been in this raging market where, you got a listing, you got the gold, it's over, one of the things I'm seeing agents going back to, John, it's exactly what you're talking about, is it's very, very important. And you should be talking to your partners about this, that the agents are networking with each other and know each other. If you want to get contracts through in this market and you're an agent, man, you got to really be doing your job. Years ago, John, everyone would make fun of agents. Oh, all they're doing is drinking and eating at open houses, or, on Caravan on Tuesday. And I would always say, no, they're not. They're marketing a property. They're getting to see other properties. They're building relationships with each other, which is very important. Now more than ever, it's extremely important. I mean, extremely important,
Yes.
Especially if you have buyers and you want to get them a house. I mean, you really need to know everyone. And by the way, that's a lot of work for agents as well. And they don't want to do it. John, what would you tell loan officers that are down in the dumps, that are calling a ambulance every 3 or 4 days right now, sitting in their office, not doing anything but being negative? What would you tell them about this market, besides your natural proclivity, which would be, please move out of my way so I can have that loan? Besides that, what would you tell people to sort of get them pumped up? Because I don't think this is a bad market. I really don't. I think it's a market where you got to work hard, but I don't think it's a bad market.
Well, I would agree with that, Joel. The market for me could go on like this. I mean, I wouldn't want to say this to Victor or to my company, because I don't think they would agree with me, but this market is just great for somebody like me. But what I would say to a down in the dumps loan officer is simply this, and it's just really simple. It would be, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to do this? Because if you really want to do this, the first thing you have to start with is you've got to be able to clear out your head and get to the point where you can just stop complaining, stop, because how many times did people say in 2020 and 2021 we're way overpaid? Probably it was true. But right now we're kind of earning our money right now. And so I think there is a very specific way, and I've heard you say a couple of things, is a very specific way to get better. You really have to focus right now on your mindset and your attitude, because this day is this business right now is about being consistent. It's about grinding, and it's about doing the right things. There's a lot of people that aren't doing anything. There's a lot of people out there that are doing stupid shit. And if you're doing the right things right now, you really have a chance. If you're consistent, you really have a chance to kick some ass.
Yeah, I agree, John, and that's what, I'm a super blessed guy, and I work with a lot of people like you one-on-one, and I work with a lot of top 8 real estate agents one-on-one, and everybody pretty much shares the same get it done type of personality and attitude, and that's what's winning in this market right now. That is what is pancaking these other loan officers right now that they can't get out of their own way, complaining. And by the way, if you're complaining and you're negative, I mean, that spreads. I mean, these agents, that they're already having a hard enough time. They don't need more negativity from you. I mean, we need to be so supportive right now of our agent partners. I'd say we need to be a beacon, a sunshine, rays, a beacon of positivity at all times with our agent partners.
Right,
John,
on.
let me ask you another question, because I'm hearing a lot about this, and our mutual friend in Connecticut, Mr. Allen, said this, and it was great the way he put it. When people are on their perch about, I don't want to move, I have a 3% interest rate, and then they've racked up a credit card at 24%, and they've got a subprime car loan at 20%. The rate they're paying on their credit really isn't 3. It's really a lot higher when you put it all together. And there are a lot of people out there that could actually sell their house, pay off their consumer debt, buy a new house with a higher interest rate, and actually their net monthly payments drop. And so, John, are you having a lot of those calls? Are your agent partners bringing you in earlier now? Do you feel like, John, I've been telling agents and loan officers this: if at the end of the day, you don't need hot water with lemon, meaning if you still have your voice at the end of the day, you did not have a productive day. Because you should literally be on the phone 24/7 right now.
That's right.
Email is pretty much dead. Texting is on the way out. You should literally be talking to people all day. John, are you having more of those phone calls? Are your agents bringing you in earlier on that structure like that?
I think there's some of the agents, the real successful ones, are that I'm just part of the first part of their conversation, Joel. That message that you're talking about right now is, honestly, we've been so focused on getting people homes over here that the message that you're talking about right now has actually been one that I've been talking about more recently with agents that aren't successful, because they seem to be the ones that are hearing the most objections. And so I'm going to tell you that I'm starting to have those conversations with people. But right now in Connecticut, I got to tell you, there's just so many people, Joel, that there's so many more people that need a house than can find one, that there's just a lot of work right there.
Yes. Okay. So John, how's your July looking, by the way? You following strong?
July is looking very good. We're as far as the number of pre-approvals that we have year over year is up from this year to last year, is up 20%. As far as new apps coming in, we're right on par with where we were with new apps this time last year. So July, I mean, our biggest challenge right now is, I think, believe it or not, Little Connecticut and Western Mass are probably a little below the median on the inventory problem than the rest of the country is. So our biggest challenge is literally there being enough homes. We've got some key towns in our market that just don't have any inventory.
Yeah.
So you said right now, finding every deal matters. And in some of the best agents that I met with last week for B2Bs, their number one thing, and these are people that are making money right now. They said their number one things, John, is they said to me, Julie says, John, it's not always be closing. She says it's always be prospecting. She says, I'm on the phone all day, and I am talking to people about the value of their homes, and I'm putting ideas in their head that they didn't have before.
Yeah. I mean, this is I'm really seeing people shine in this market, and then I'm seeing other people just fall away, and it's sad. It's sad. But there's people you can tell them as many times as you can to their face, but they just don't want to do it because they didn't really realize what their job was. I mean, they thought their job was just answering the phone and just locking someone in, and because the rate was always going down or it was the same or whatever, not even having to explain a different program than a 30-year fix. They just thought that was their job. They're basically order takers. And John, I think you're right. Extremely overpaid order takers. And now is where the metal hits the road. I mean, it's game on. And what I wanted you all to make sure, John, let me ask you one more question before we run out here. And you don't have to be exact, but to close those 32 units in June, John, do you have any clue? Did you pull credit on like 80 people? Was it 100 people? Was it higher? I know because it's taking people so long. How many apps did you start, ballpark, to close those 32?
Well, so Joel, that's a harder one to be exact with right now because some of these pre-approvals, I mean, this is my 20th year in the business, and I've never seen people in the pre-approval process as long as they are now.
Right. So it could be some of these people could be from December, is what you're saying.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So right, my conversion rate for the last 5 or 6 years has usually been about 40%.
Okay.
But right now, I've noticed the last 2 months, we've been bringing in right around 70 new applications every month.
All right. So that's not horrible. I mean, to close 32 and then turn around and close another 30 in July. So everyone, I think John dropped some pearls there. Make sure you really heard that listing agent piece. If you heard nothing, just remember, call and be prepared when you're on the phone. Be prepared. Oh, not my people are great. Get dirty. You know your craft. You should be overcoming objections a listing agent would have before they come out of his or her mouth. That's how quickly those things should be going on. So everyone, I want to thank you for spending some time with me this week. I always want to thank John. I always want to thank my guest, John Hodgkins, who's a busy guy, for sharing some time with us. And I wanted to the only reason I asked him how many loans he was closing, everybody, is not to show off for him. Is I wanted you all to be motivated by that, not upset by that. To know, okay, he's closing 32 loans. There's no reason I'm closing 2 loans. You don't have to close 32 loans, but you can certainly close a lot more than 2 or 3. So everyone, keep your head down, keep grinding. Again, this is a great market, and it's only going to get better. Okay. And I'll talk to everybody in 2 weeks. Thank you, John Hodgkins. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.